Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope all is well. This is something different that I'm doing on the channel. You're actually going to do a ride along with me, and on this video series I'm going to be going to historical locations around my area, as well as notorious locations and spooky locations around my area. Just notorious locations. Richmond, Virginia has a lot of history in this city, and so I'm gonna do a video series. It's just you're gonna ride along with me. I'm gonna point the camera to the road eventually, and I'm gonna give you a history of the site that I'm actually going to. So I'm gonna do a voiceover on that, and you're gonna know all the history on this historical case involving the Briley brothers. The Briley brothers were three brothers, and they also had an accomplice that they terrorized Richmond, Virginia in the 1970s, in the mid-70s. And two of the brothers were put to death by way of electric chair, one year after each other. And one brother is still in prison to this day, and he's actually not too far. He's housed not too, well, it's kind of a distance. It's actually kind of a distance, but one brother is still incarcerated, and the accomplice got life in prison, because it was a total of 4 people. This house that I'm going to today, that I'm going to show you, is where they grew up, and that's where the first murder took place. Linwood Briley was the ringleader of everything. He committed his first murder at this residence I'm going to today. It's kind of creepy me going there, but he shot his neighbor, an older woman. He shot her. And that's when he was around 16 years old. And what happened was, at first they didn't know she was shot, and they thought she just kind of just died or whatever. But when they were at her funeral, they noticed that there was some blood stains there. So the family had another autopsy done, and come to find out, she was there was a shot to her back. That's how she died. I don't know how they did not know that in the beginning, but it pointed back to the house that we're going to today, and Linwood Brawley was arrested, and he did only a year in prison in reformatory school. Okay, so this is the place I'm going to today, so you're gonna ride along with me. I'm gonna do some voiceovers and stuff like that, and once I get to the property, hopefully I can film it. I mean, the property right now is there's someone living in the property. Someone bought the property. The owner, several years ago, the owner just wanted out of the property, because out here in Virginia, they have a law where they don't have to tell you who died in the house. They don't have to tell you if the house is connected to something infamous. They don't have to tell you. It's a rule out here that they don't have to tell you. So this developer bought the house not knowing that there was bad blood that lived there. And once he found this out, he wanted out of the house. He just wanted to sell the house for like $20,000. But I think the house was last purchased for $90,000. So someone lives in that property. So hopefully when I get there, I'll just hurry up and quickly film, just to show you the before and after, and just show you that I went there. And so hopefully we're going to get that done today. But look out for more videos. I just recorded another historical video, but stay tuned for that one. For when that video uploads. And I'm going to try to do this on a regular basis, because like I said, Richmond has a lot of historical places out here. Remember, the Civil War was fought out here. There's a lot out here to see, so I'm going to cover it all, hopefully. So yeah, that's it for the Briley brothers. They were notorious. You about to read it in a minute once I start doing the voiceover. This was a notorious crew right here. In fact, before, when they got executed by way of electric chair, there was a lot of racial tension out here over it. You believe that? These guys were, it sparked a lot of racial tension. And so yeah, they killed at least 12 people. And they killed a pregnant one. It's crazy. But yeah, so let me hit the road, and we'll be right back, and you're gonna follow me there, and I'm gonna get to the house. All right, stay tuned. Guys, I'm back. it won't be long now before I get there. Hopefully, it's a nice day out. Hopefully I'll be able to film the house without nobody seeing me. Like, it creeps people out when you just roll up to their house, a strange car, and just start filming. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do it the best I can, or I might have to do a drive-by. So we'll see, because the street is pretty narrow and the houses are pretty close together. So I'm gonna do what I gotta do to get this footage, you feel me? I'm gonna do what I have to do. Hopefully whoever lives there, they know the history of the house. Hopefully they know that. But like I said before, Virginia has a law where they don't have to tell you the history of the house. They really don't have to tell you. But I know the previous owner, before this owner, said that he felt haunted by the history of the house, and he just wanted out. So, stick with me, bear with me, enjoy the ride while I do this voiceover and tell you the history of what happened. All right, stay tuned. All right, guys. So the Brawley brothers, I first come to know who these brothers were when I first moved to Virginia. I remember, like it was yesterday, me and a coworker was talking, right? And they was just telling me about how bad it used to be back in the day in the area or whatever. And then we just started talking about the Brawley brothers. I didn't know anything about the Brawley brothers. And he was just saying how they terrorized Richmond in the 1970s. And after that conversation, I started researching them. I went home, I remember, got on the computer, and I just started reading up on the story, and I was hooked because I'm like, wow, I never heard about this. And this story involves murders, multiple murders. It involves a jail escape, a prison escape, and the story ended in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, of all places. And but I'm gonna get into that in a second. That it ended at their they were staying at their uncle's house. So this murdering trio consisted of Linwood Briley, they all brothers, James DeRaw Briley Jr. and Anthony Ray Briley, and they had an accomplice, Duncan Eric Meekins. Now, the first murder took place on January 28th, 1971. The first killing was committed by Linwood Briley. He was 16 years old. While alone at home, Linwood fatally shot Orland Christian, a 57-year-old neighbor, with a rifle from his bedroom window as she was hanging out some laundry on a clothesline. It's crazy. Now, the crime, check this out, the crime almost went unidentified, but her relatives noticed a small bloody mark under her armpit while viewing the body, and they asked the funeral director to re-examine the body. Upon second examination, a small caliber bullet wound was discovered under her armpit. Now, standing in Christian's backyard, a detective used a sheet of plywood to represent her body, with a hole cut out to represent the wound, and determined that the bullet, which is good investigator work by this person, because back then, they didn't have the technology, but he was determined that a bullet came from the Briley's residence. There, the murder weapon was found, and Linwood admitted to the crime by saying, "I heard she had heart problems. She would have died anyway." And Linwood was sent to reform school only to serve 1 year sentence for the killing. Now, James Briley followed in the same path at the same age, having been sentenced to time in juvenile hall for firing upon a police officer during a pursuit. Now, in 1979, we're going to talk about the murder spree. In 1979, the three Briley brothers and accomplice Duncan Eric Meekins began the 7-month series of random killings that terrified the city and the surrounding region. Their first attack occurred on March 12, 1979, when Linwood knocked on the door of a Henrico couple, William and Virginia Butcher, claiming that he had car trouble and needed to use their telephone. Linwood eventually forced his way into their home. He held the couple at gunpoint and waved Anthony inside. The two brothers tied up the couple, robbed the house, dousing the house with kerosene after stripping it of his valuables. As they left, they lit a match and tossed it into the house. And the two hurried and packed their stolen loot, a television, CB radio, a .32 caliber pistol, and jewelry into their trunk and drove out of the area. William Butcher managed to free himself and his wife from their restraints, which Meekins apparently had not tied them tightly enough, and the couple escaped just before the house became engulfed in flames. And get this, they would be the only sole survivors of this killing spree. Now, on March 21st, Michael McDuffie, a vending machine serviceman, was assaulted and shot and robbed outside of his suburban home by the Brawleys. 10 days later, on March 31st, Linwood shot and killed 28-year-old Eric Alvin Clark over a drug dispute involving Meekins. On April 29th, on April 29th, the brothers followed 76-year-old Mary Gowan across town to her babysitting job. They followed her into the house. They beat, raped, and robbed her and shot her. They escaped from the residence with many of her valuables. Now, the gang also saw 17-year-old Christopher Phillips hanging around Linwood's parked car on July 4th. Suspecting that he might have been trying to steal the vehicle, the gang surrounded him and dragged him to a nearby backyard. There, the brothers wrestled him to the ground. When Phillips screamed for help, Linwood killed him by dropping a cinder block on his skull. On September 4th, the disc jockey by the name of John Harvey, aka Johnny G. Gallagher, was performing with his band at a South Richmond nightclub. Stepping outside between sets, he was just stepping outside between sets. He inadvertently came right into the hands of the Brawleys. Having been looking around town for a victim that night without success, they decided to lie in wait for whomever might happen to step outside. Gallagher was assaulted by Linwood and put in the trunk of his own Lincoln Continental. He was then driven out to the ruins of a paper mill on Mayo Island, located in the middle of the James River, where he was removed from the trunk of his car and shot dead at point blank range in the head. $6 was taken, only $6, and his wallet and they divided it up. Gallagher's body was then dumped in the James River. The remains was found 2 days later, and when arrested months later, Linwood was still wearing the ring stolen from Gallagher's hands. On September 30th, 62-year-old private nurse Mary Wilfong was followed home to her Richmond apartment. The brothers surrounded her outside her door, and Linwood beat her to death with a baseball bat. The brothers then entered the apartment and robbed it of its valuables. These people, man, listen, these guys were, I can't even tell you, these guys they were some bad dudes, put it that way. Now, 5 days later, following that, on October 5th, just 2 blocks from the Brawley's home on 4th Avenue, 75-year-old Blanche Page and her 59-year-old boarder Charles Garner were murdered by the brothers. Page was bludgeoned to death, while Garner was fatally assaulted and stabbed to death with various weapons, which included a baseball bat, 5 knives, a pair of scissors, and a fork. The scissors and the fork were left embedded in Garner's back. Now, the victims of the final murder were the family of Harvey Wilkerson, a longtime friend of the brothers. On the morning of October 19th, despite having promised a judge earlier that day that he would stay outside of trouble while on parole, James led his brothers on a prowl that night for yet another victim. Upon seeing the brothers down the street, Wilkerson, who lived with his 23-year-old wife, Judy Diane Barton, and she was 5 months pregnant at the time, and her 5-year-old son, Harvey Wayne Barton, instinctively closed and locked his door. This action was noticed by the brothers. Look, they noticed that just by him locking his door, they noticed that, and then they decided to go over and terrorize this family. Now, they then walked over to Wilkerson's front door. Now, get this. Terrified by their potential response if he refused them entry, Wilkerson allowed them in. Both adults in their home were overpowered, bound and gagged with duct tape. Linwood then assaulted Judy Barton in the kitchen, where she was raped within distance of the others, Meekins continued to sexually assault, after which Linwood dragged Barton back to his living room, briefly rummaging the premises of valuables, and then left the house. The 3 remaining gang members covered the victims with sheets. James told Meekins, "You got to get one." Upon Meekins shot a pistol and fatally shot Wilkerson in the head. James then shot Barton to death. Harvey followed shortly. Police happened to be in the general vicinity of the neighborhood, and they actually heard the gunshots, and later saw the gang members running down the street at high speed, but they didn't know where the shots were fired from. The bodies were discovered. The bodies were not discovered until 3 days later, but the brothers were all arrested soon afterwards. Now, on top of this, on top of everything, they managed to escape. Now, Linwood and James Brawley were the ringleaders in a 6-inmate escape from a Virginia death row in Mecklenburg Correctional Facility on May 31st, 1984. During the early moments of the escape, in which was coordinated efforts resulting in inmates taking over the death row unit, both Brawleys expressed strong interest in the killing and capturing of guards by dousing them with rubbing alcohol and tossing it. Then they tossed a lit match, while Lloyd Turner, another death row convicted murderer, he was executed by lethal injection on May 25th, 1995. Stepped in James' way by blocking him for doing so. Meanwhile, Wilbert Lee Evans, a death row, was on death row after being convicted of the murder of Alexandria City Sheriff's Department William Truesdale, prevented Linwood from raping a female nurse. Evans was executed on October 17, 1990, despite pleas for clemency and confirmation and confirming of the Mecklenburg guards, who said they owed their lives to Evans. He died anyway. Alexandria's Commonwealth Attorney John Clark opposed clemency, and Democratic Governor Douglas L. Wilder, the state's first African-American governor, ultimately denied clemency. Now, the group, they originally wanted to escape to Canada. 2 inmates, Lem Davis Tuggle Jr., convicted of murdering a woman shortly after being released of another such crime, executed by lethal injection on December 12th, 1996. Now, the Brawleys, they went to live with their uncle, Johnny Lee Council, in the north of Philadelphia. They were captured on June 19th by a heavily armed group of FBI agents and police who had determined their location by placing wiretaps on their uncle's phone. Now, a little bit on the execution. In short order, they died 1 year after each other, but the remaining pills ran out on both brothers several weeks before his execution. James Briley married Evangeline Grant Redding on Thursday, March 28th, 1985, in a prison ceremony attended by his father, James Sr. The brothers were executed by way of electric chair at the Virginia State Penitentiary in Richmond. Linwood was executed on October 12th, 1984, and James on April 18th, 1985. The Linwood brothers are survived by one son, Norman Laquan Ampey, who later served time in prison for a bank robbery and died in 2015. James is survived by 3 daughters who live in Richmond. The brothers are buried at the Council Family Cemetery plot in Bethel, North Carolina. Anthony Ray Brawley was given a life sentence with the possibility of parole, as it could not be proven that he was directly responsible for any of the murders. He is incarcerated in Augusta Correctional Facility, 20 miles outside of Staunton, Virginia. To date, all of his applications for parole have been denied by the state parole board, as have those of Duncan Meekins, despite recommendations of former prosecutor Robert J. Rice and Warren Vaughn have cited Meekins' acceptance in prosecuting and convicting the Briley brothers. See, Meekins, what happened was Meekins decided to turn state witness and testify on the Brawley brothers, and they used that to secure their conviction. And like I said, the surviving Brawley brother, he just have life with the possibility of parole, but to date, he keeps getting denied every calendar year. So that's the story. So let me know what you guys think. I'll look forward to doing more videos like this. All right, so definitely we're almost there. The closer and closer I get to this place, I'm kind of creeped out. But like I said, if a lot of people are outside, I'm gonna try to film this the best way I can, because I don't like filming people homes. You know, it's like kind of, it weirds people out. Like if I just roll up, I'm a strange person, and you know, I kind of just film people houses with them outside. But Richmond, this is the Highland. Yeah, I believe this is the Highland Springs area.
In 1,000 feet at the traffic circle, take the 4th exit onto Dill Avenue.
All right, cool. I'm almost there. I'm literally almost there now. So there's probably going to have to be a flyby. But I just wanted you guys to get an idea on where this place is. Hey, out there dancing, okay. See, I gotta go on Dill Avenue.
In 500 feet at the traffic circle, take the 3rd exit and stay on Dill Avenue.
There we go. We're almost there. Damn, I missed my turn.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto Bird Street.
I literally missed my turn.
Head southeast on Rady Street toward 4th Avenue. Turn left onto 5th Avenue.
I wonder if I can just make a U-turn right here. Hold on. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I got a picture of this house, so I know it's at 3117.
In 800 feet, turn left onto Bird Street.
It's Dill Avenue. Oh, that says do not enter. So it got to be where that truck is going. Yep. Totally missed it. All right.
Head north on Rady Street. In 50 feet, at the traffic circle, take the 1st exit onto Dill Avenue.
Almost there.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto Burn Street.
It's at 3117, so I don't want to...
Turn right onto Burn Street, then turn right onto 4th Avenue.
Yeah, it's like really, it's like literally right here. All right, so cool. Hopefully ain't nobody outside. See a dog out there.
Turn right onto 4th Avenue, then your destination will be on the left.
Oh, it's on the left. Oh, there it is. I see it already. It ain't nobody out here. So I can pretty much...
Your destination is on the left.
3117. That's 3119. 1917. You see right there, let me see. I gotta hurry up, hold on. 117 is right there. You see that beige house? That's 3117. And that's the house. That's the house right there. That's 3119, so that's 3117 right there. That's the notorious house. I don't want to stay too long. People know I'm recording, but that's it, y'all. It's crazy, right? I'm gonna see if I can sit right there. I believe he killed the neighbor right there, but that's the house. Anyway, guys, that was the house. Luckily, it wasn't nobody in front of the house, but across the street, they were looking at me. So, if anybody see this video and y'all were looking at me, I didn't want any problems. So, if anybody see this video or whatnot, because that's a very notorious house. So, you guys got a chance to see it with me. And I didn't want to stay too long. I didn't want to get out and start filming and, you know, looking crazy. You know what I mean? So, pretty much I did what I had to do. But that's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. And I will try to do more like that pretty soon. But that house is that's where the brothers grew up at that house. And like I said, let me see, where am I going? Magnolia. Let me see, where am I going? Like I said, they raised hell.
Continue on Magnolia Street for half a mile.
They raised hell in the 70s, and that's where they grew up at. Really nice, modest house, right? But it looks like someone lives there, because the house don't look the same as it does on the Google map pictures. But I had to get the address right. So I knew I was at 3119, so I knew 31117 was right there. But I'm not sure exactly where the first murder took place. I don't know if it was like next door or across the street. So hopefully I'll be able to find that out, and I'll show you the exact house on where the first murder took place of the neighbor. I believe it was right next door.
Then turn right onto the I-64 West ramp.
But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I will do more. This is something different that I got going on the channel right now. So thank you for driving with me. Until next video. Oh, and by the way, make sure you share the video. Make sure you share the video. Make sure you subscribe and all of that. Until next video. Peace.